Hello all. I think that you can see me now well, I hope, and I would really ask you to write to the chat that you can hear and you can see me well, because today we are traveling to Spain. It's connected with my plein air that was in May this year. We were painting with my students and we're enjoying the sea and we're enjoying the sun. And I'm inspired with the nature in Spain, and that's why today we are painting exactly this plot. I think you've seen on my Patreon or also on Instagram, but it was not me actually who has chosen this plot, but my Patreon followers, because there were 3 photos and you've chosen this sea together with the stone pine and the cliffs and the sunny weather, but it's already the evening. That's why we don't see the cast shadows, we don't see a very bright sun, but it doesn't mean anything for us because the nature is amazing there. So if you paint with me today, great, but if you cannot paint now, you can paint later, because the live stream is going to be saved and will be available on my YouTube channel, and you can paint later and you can post on your social media and tag me so that I can see your results and can share the... By the way, it's interesting idea I have. If you want the feedback, you can request the feedback for this painting. I think that I will write it on my Patreon. So if you paint, you can request the feedback on this tutorial. So the plan is talking about a bit about the composition, making a pencil drawing, talking about consistencies of watercolor that I'm going to use, and then actually painting with watercolor. So now I'm changing the camera so that you can see my table, and we will start with the composition. So I hope you can see my table, and in the corner you can see me and also the photo that we are painting today. And so this is the photo, and the pencil drawing is also available on my Patreon channel. It's for free, it's there, you can take it because it may help you to paint. Then the only thing on this pencil drawing, and I wanted to attract your attention to that fact that the photo is not a very good, not a harmonious composition. I will explain you why. So the thing with the photo is that the horizon line, the line between the sky and the sea, is exactly in the middle. It's not a good composition. That's why I have to change it. And I'm thinking, okay, what I'm going to make more, the sea or the sky? And I love sea more. That's why I will move my horizon line upper. I will have like around 1/3 of the sky, and the rest will be the sea. So that's my plan about the composition. So the change number 1, and change number 2, I will move a bit my tree to the left so that it's not that close to the paper edge. It will be more like here, because it will keep my tree in the focus, because around here, here, here and here there are focal points. I will not talk a lot about focal points, about compositions, about the golden ratio, because it's like a big topic, and you can always check it in my tutorials. But what's important is that moving the horizon line and moving the tree for a good composition. So I'm starting now with the pencil drawing. So yes, the first what I'm going to do is to make the line. We agreed about this horizon line. So I think it will be like here. I'm making the line very, very light because the tree, the pine is very close to me, so the foreground will be full of details, and I don't want to make hard edges here behind, so the background shouldn't be with hard edges. So the line I don't want to see, I mean this line. That's why I'm making it very, very light, very, very soft. After that, I'm starting with the cliff. Actually, it's not very easy to see, but I've been to this place, so I know how it looks in reality. So it starts here, and then it goes further, further, further till here. We don't see it, but I will make this line because I want to show that the background is not just white. It's not sky background, but it's cliff. So I'm starting here. It comes further than the middle. You can see it like here, I think. I will make also this arch. They're amazing, actually. If you go there, you will really love this place. It's very nice, just gorgeous in any weather, in any season, I guess. So yeah. Then I'm making this coastline. It's not a straight one, but rather like this, and it goes here. Yeah. There are a lot of these tiny stones. I will make them, I think, already with the paint without any detail. That's why now I'm not making any pencil drawing marks. So just, yeah. So that's the time now to start with the pine, and we agree that I move it. Yeah, so it will start like more here. So this is too small, so I'm starting here. And these pines, these stone pines, they are curvy. Yeah, they get so much wind from the sea, and they look very dynamic. So that's important, that the trunk is not just straight, but is very curvy. So I'm starting with this. Sometimes you can make also like it bigger than in reality, or even curvier than in reality. So it's up to you what you do with that, but make sure that it's not a straight one. We don't need a straight one. Some of the branches, not all, but some I will make. The biggest, I mean, I will make, but not all, definitely. It's not possible to make all of them, right? There is also one more here. So when I usually make a trunk, I'm making it like from here, from the main branch. I'm I'm going further to make other ones, because here we need the connection. This stone, I was thinking whether to make it or not, I'm not sure, so I can skip it. Here is big bush, I will make it. Yeah, I think I'm done with the pencil drawing. I'm not sure I'm going to make it too detailed. It's just you can see it's a small piece of paper. It's more like about sketchy manner, not without too many details. Let's talk about materials. By the way, I used already one of them. It's the paper. I use always 100% cotton. It can be Hahnemuhle, it can be sorry, some different one, but it's professional, 300 grams. 100% cotton, and I prefer grain thin or torchon, but never satin, because satin is very smooth and very slippery paper, and it doesn't it's not a good choice for my technique, because I use paper wet on wet. So the paper, the size of the paper, actually I don't know, I just cut it from a big one, so it's like the half of yeah, it's more than the half. So it's like 20 to 15 or something, so it's not a big piece of paper, but you choose the paper that you like, yeah, the size that you get used to, but it's vertical orientation, because the pine is rather high, that's why I went for this one. The brushes I'm going to use, I'm using soft brushes from Goat Hake ones for watering the paper. So these are these two, like one or two, just one is bigger. And I'm using Escoda Perla, that's the brush I'm using in most cases. It's synthetic brush. It's number 10, that's number 14, so it depends just of the size of your paper. Perhaps today I will use a smaller one, but usually I use 14 or 12. Then I'm going to use some calligraphic brush. Actually, I'm not sure if I'm going to use it, but what is good about calligraphic brush, that it has a regular point, and for these stone pines we can use it, because we can make really irregular, like yeah, the crown, the tree crown may look more like with the regular needles. That's why I love this brush for this, but it's not obligatory, yeah, so I'm still not sure what I'm going to use it. And you will need also some smaller brush. It can be like Schlepper brush. This one is a very thin one. I have like this, or like this, just a second. Like this. So something small, it doesn't matter actually what small brush you have. I found one more brush, and I tried it and I liked it so much. It's from my Italian brand Tintoretto. It's a synthetic brush. It's very regular like shape, but very long hair, and I use it for these tiny lines, tiny branches, but it's possible also to make with this brush. So this is a good brush, but this is more universal. So I think that's it about the brushes. One more thing that I'm going to use, it can be your nail, it can be plastic cards like bank cards, or the palette knife to make like some kind of scratches, to show this texture here. Now I'm painting at home, in my home studio, so I'm having all the materials available, and palette knife I do have with me, but if I'm plein air painting, so I'm using just my nails, so it's the same. When I scratch, I get the same result. The colors that I'm going to use, let's talk. The sky, usually I'm choosing ultramarine. For the sea, yeah, and the sky here is a bit grayish, purplish. On that place I'm going to use lavender, but my lavender, that's from Rosa, from brand Rosa. It is a more purplish one, and I would neutralize it, so make it not that bright. For that I'm using just one drop of burnt sienna, and I will get this color. Then the sea is blue, but it's a bit a different blue. It's not the sky blue. That's why I'm going to use phthalo blue. It's a bit different hue, more sea hue. And for these shallow waters, I'm going to use phthalo green mixed with cadmium yellow. So to make phthalo green a bit more lighter, but it's a very good combination to show the further sea and the sea which is close to us. And yeah, if you don't have phthalo green, you can use also some turquoise color. It's absolutely okay. And these are the colors that I'm going to use for all the rocks. Two of them are granulation colors, Lunar Earth and Lunar Black from Daniel Smith. And I would love to use them for the trunk, and I think for the ground, on the foreground, so that I see a lot of texture here, because there are like needles or some small stones. That's why I'm going to use these colors. Additionally, you can use ochre, so it's not obligatory, just some warmish color. Neutral tint I use always, because it's a very dark but very rich color for the shadow. So on all the black places I'm going to use this color, like here in the arches or the blackish part on this bush, I will allow it. One more color is Naples yellow reddish, or any other Naples color I'm going to use for this part of the beach, because it's very light. It can be also with ochre, but ochre is a bit, yeah, at least my ochre is a bit too warmish, so I would prefer this one. So these are the colors, and I'm going to start already watercoloring. If you have any questions, please ask. Just let me know if you are here also painting or watching. Always welcome with your questions. What I would also to add, I'm now seeing there are several more trees, and I will make like as a suggestion, yeah, for these trees. A bit further, I think. So let's start like here. Yeah. You ready to start with watercolor? What do you think? I'm having some water and ready to start. I will wet the paper from back absolutely, so it will be absolutely wet, because that's the technique I love, and I want that everything that bleeds. But from the front I need to have a plan. I don't want that everything bleeds so much together that I lose control. I don't want that. That's why I will make the sky and the sea wet, will paint them. Then I will make the cliff, yeah, this one. Then I will make the beach, the foreground, and the tree. I'm still thinking what to do here, because there is so much mess, needles, branches, etc., and to show that there are some needles and branches that are far away, yeah, like further and more close to us. I guess I will also add some of them while the paper, the sky here is still wet. So I will see how much time I have in terms how quick the paper is drying. So I will wet my paper from back. Just a second, I am checking something, and we will start. And during this time, I think you can also have more time to make your sketch. Yeah, so I'm wetting it with a big brush. Clean water. Please feel free to ask your questions, and then I want to remind you that you can request the feedback after you paint it, like individual feedback from me if you want to get some advice, or if you have any questions, you can do it. I will make this post on my Patreon so that you see it. So my advice is to subscribe there for it can be also for free, and you will see all the posts I'm making there. You will know all the news from my art life. So a lot of movement so that the paper is absolutely wet. I'm generous with water because I don't know how quick I am, because I'm talking a lot while teaching, because I want to share some information. Yes. So now I'm turning it. But now I'm not watering the whole because we agreed, yeah, that I'm painting the sea and the sky. But through the branches we see the sea and the sky. That's why I'm making everything wet. So I'm not leaving dry gaps between branches, yeah. But the cliff is better to have still dry. Yeah, I think it's wet. Now I'm preparing the colors. I'm using Escoda. And first is ultramarine. So it's ultramarine. And separately I am making lavender. And I'm adding just one drop of burnt sienna so that the color is a bit more neutral, not brownish, so this is not good. Yes, it's too warm. So again, I'm adding lavender. Yeah, and it's becoming neutral lavender. So these are the colors for the sky. So like till here, and then I'm starting with lavender. But till the cliff begins, yeah, because further we have the cliff. And I want that it's more like smooth transition. Here is a bit darker. There are also some clouds, but I'm not making them. Now I'm removing water here. Yes. And I'm starting now with phthalo blue for the sea. So I'm preparing phthalo blue. I'll make like this and you can see it better. Very thick one, so the consistency should be cream consistency, because I don't want that my sea bleeds into the sky. That's why I'm not using water, only the pigment. And to make a bit more visible connection between the sea and the sky, I'm adding a bit of ultramarine. So this will be very thick color for my sea. But the shallow sea is a different color, you can see it. So I'm cleaning my brush and I'm taking phthalo green. We'll mix it here. So phthalo green is very bright color actually. And I'm adding to phthalo green a bit of yellow to make the color more light, and also this will show that it's shallow waters. So like this, it's crazy bright color. Yes. I'm removing the water because what happens if I don't do that? Perhaps you already experienced that, because I'm generous with water, and when I'm leaving it, it can come back to my painting and can destroy the edges and create cauliflowers. I don't want. So I'm starting with blue, with phthalo blue. The line, I guess, was here. And it's important to use only horizontal lines for the sea. This. And till this place, I'm making these lines, because here we already see the shallow waters. So I'm making horizontal lines. So it's bleeded, I think the water bleeded, so I'm removing a bit the water from the cliff. So only horizontal lines. Even if I make one vertical line, then on top I'm making horizontal line. So very thick paint. So like this is the place I save for my shallow waters. Yes, on some places I can make it more intensive. Look, and it's still wet. I can make it, yeah, so like this, so then it's not too obvious. That's the time to start here with shallow waters, but what I see on the photo, and I hope I can show to you it, yes. So here there is a reflection from this cliff, and the cliffs are brown, so it means there is also reflection in the water. So I need this brown actually to make the reflection. The reflection is the thing that we always paint in vertical lines. This is clean dry brush, I'm moving it a bit. So I'm starting now with reflection. I'm taking brown, that's burnt sienna. I'm taking exactly from here, not even mixing. And under the cliff, I'm making just this kind of lines. Because this will be the reflection. And now I'm starting with green, also with horizontal lines. But what I have to do is to pull it inside like this way, also on top of my reflection. Because I need a very smooth connection between these colors so that they are not perceived like two different colors with no transition. So I need this transition. So like this, yeah, I'm pulling. These are the hairs from a big brush, I guess, so I will remove them, because when it's like 1, 2, I don't actually care, but there's like so many. But only horizontal lines, that's really important. And like blending them together. You can also use some soft dry brush for blending if you want, yeah, but it's not needed, at least in my case. Also the hair, yeah, so with the natural brushes it's always, yeah, it's not an issue actually, but it happens. Here you can see cauliflowers, I guess. So I'm moving also with absolutely dry brush with soft one. Yeah. I will add now some needles, some of the crown, and for that I need the color which is not too bright. I'm going to use, I'm taking also phthalo green, very thick, because the crown is rather dark, but the color, yeah, the phthalo green is super bright, so it doesn't work very good. That's why I'm going to neutralize it, and for that I'm using this Nepal yellow. And you will be surprised, I am adding purple. So here this is purple. This is not bright purple, this is like manganese purple or something, so it changes the color, but you can use any purple you have, just not don't use too much purple, because then it's getting too grayish. But purple can neutralize it a bit, yeah? So you see the color is very nice now. You can make it with this brush, or you can take this calligraphic brush. I will show you how to use this brush. So I have for purpose making it is like this. I'm taking the color very thick, yeah, you see? And on some places where I see, when you paint the crown, it's important to add less than you think is enough, because we need really a lot of the air coming through the crown. That's very important. I'm turning the brush all the time. I'm trying to get rid of some regular lines. And I'm adding less than I think is enough. That's important. Yeah, I think like this. Now I'm taking a thin brush for making some of the trunks, the big branches. I'm taking neutral tint, very thick, exactly from actually have it in the pen. So, the color in the tube was not available because I buy it always, and I didn't have it anymore, and only in the pens was available. I just bought it. It works rather okay. Yeah, and so I will make some of the like this, yeah. Some are very chaotical, yeah. You can see it. But here I'm not touching because I need to make still the cliff, yeah. But here, yes. But not too much, because there will be more that will happen later on dry paper, yeah. But the illusion of those that are far away, because they will get a bit lighter, they will get a bit dissolved. Yeah, so I'm creating this chaos. Now taking again this brush, and on some places adding darker spots with the same color, but it's a bit already darker color because it's just more purple, isn't it? Sometimes I'm even coming on top of the branches that create this chaos. If you want, you can make splashes with the green. I'm taking the same color. But for splashes, you need to add a bit of water. Just a bit. Yeah. So there are some dots here, not a problem. Let it be. And let's make the cliff. So the cliff is rather light. I will take an apple color and just painting it on dry, yeah. So I don't care about it too much. You can also a bit wet it or just using it on dry. I even leave a bit, can leave a bit of the white if I want. So this is my cliff. To make it a bit charged, to add some of the colors, additional one, you can use some a bit more warmish. Yeah, so I will add it just. I think like this. And now it's time to add here green, because I see it there. But in between, I'm leaving this. So it's a good time now to start with the beach. But the thing is that the beach consists out of two elements. It's dry sand and wet sand. Dry sand can be the same color that I used for the cliff, but here there is also wet sand. You can see it on the photo. It's a bit more intensive in color, and it's a bit more brownish. So I can take burnt sienna, but burnt sienna is very bright. You can see it also from here, but I can neutralize it. Actually, for burnt sienna, lavender is a very good color to neutralize. This is cauliflower, yes, you see it goes. To avoid it, we have to remove water regularly, or put in the paper also under. I mean this kind of a paper, like this one, you can take under. And the paper takes all the water. So sometimes I'm doing that, sometimes I'm skipping it, but that's the way, because the paper will take all the water. Yeah. How are you there? Is somebody painting, or you leave it for your weekend, or yeah, for later? Yeah, I guess for later. Yeah, because now it's a bit quick. It can be, because it's a bit sketchy thing, but later you can make it and press stop and make it continue. It's always nice. So I will wet now the beach. I think everything together, the ground, like all these parts. But I also want to show the foam, the white one. And the foam, yeah, it's better to leave white. Thank you, Anastasia. So the foam is white, and it's better to leave the paper. We can do later on with white paint. We can do it. But the less white we have with the paint is better, because there is no so white paint than actually the paper. That's why when I'm going to wet this area, I will leave 2 millimeters dry paper to create the effect. You can see it now. The effect of this foam. So that's my plan, to save it a bit. Yeah, but before I need to make this branch. What do you think? Here on wet, because then it can be too late. So clean water, but already different brush, because all those are too big for me. So I'm starting watering, leaving a bit of 2-3 millimeters. The edge is very rough, so I'm not making like a diagonal line, but making it rather curvy, like this. Further, you can use a big brush for watering, of course, like here, yes. But you never touch the places that already are with watercolor, covered with watercolor. So I'm not touching here, so only here. So I'm taking now an apple color, but it should be clean because my is already with some green. So I'm checking. With horizontal lines. Even coming on top of the trunks, because trunks are bigger, not a problem. So like this, horizontal. And I'm making now a bit of the color for the wet sand. I'm taking burnt sienna and neutralize it with lavender. I'm getting like the color which is still warmish, but not that bright as burnt sienna. And making it like very accurate strokes, you can see it. Create the illusion of the foam. And of the wet sand, of course, yeah. Here, for example, if it's too much foam, then I'm coming a bit inside. Just using the fine point of my brush. Actually, there is no sand anymore, so it's some chaos with stones. So I'm adding just even a bit with burnt sienna. Yeah, like this. So this is the place for the stones, but this is the place for my foam and for the sand. Clean dry brush, I'm checking on the place. If I don't like the shape of the foam, I'm a bit moving the paint because it's still, yeah, wettish a bit, yeah, a bit wet, and I can remove it, making it that not obvious. And I do care that my wet sand connects with my dry sand in a smooth manner. So I'm pulling with my absolutely dry and clean brush them together. So like this. What colors are there? Some greenish, yeah. So I'm just adding, I don't care about really the color there, yeah. So I think like this. That's the time now to make the ground here and a bit of the bush here. The ground is grayish, warmish. This part is more warm, but because of this is foreground, I would like to make it with textures. So textures I can create with granulation pigment. It can be lunar earth. If you don't have granulation pigment, don't worry, you take just burnt sienna, you cover it and you add just splashes. You can add salt to get some effect that will make this place closer to us. This is granulation pigment. I'm still very accurate. I'm not touching the sea because it's still wet. I don't know that. So like separation of the beach and this foreground. It's also there. To let granulation pigment work, take it very thick. Yeah, with a bit of water, but still thick, not watery. This is between those trees. And I'm making this line to make a separation a bit of those. Yeah, this is a bit of foreground. So the bush is green, but I think there were no green colors in the list. So, but you know that you can always make green out of yellow and blue. This was ultramarine, I'm adding just yellow and I'm getting very nice olive green. With very chaotic movements. I think this. I'm making this bush. When it's too bright, I'm taking the color they used for the pine. There is also some. And for shadow, again neutral tint. Also time for neutral tint here. And a bit here. There's a lot of green here, you can see it. When it is still wet, it's better to do with a smaller brush, but yeah, I do it like this. There is one more trunk there, it's further than this one. That's why I'm taking also neutral tint, but not that intense. Yeah, it's not very bright. I can also add a bit of lavender on top to make it further, because this one will be a bit warmish. I want to make the granulation here. That's why I will be adding a lot of granulation pigment and will let it bleed. I will show you how we can make it. These are some grasses or something. So I'm taking lunar earth and I'm covering the trunk. This is lunar earth. But I also take very fresh lunar black, exactly from the tube. A bit mixing still on the palette, but yeah, it should be really thick. You can see it. So this is the color. It looks super dark, I know. But what I'm going to do now is to let it bleed, and I want to get some effect of texture on the tree. I'm taking small brush. The color you can choose yourself. I'm taking, for example, very liquid lavender, so I'm mixing it very liquid. I'm putting my board vertically and I'm leaving it to bleed. Or I am taking this Napple, also watery, because my granulation pigment is thick. This one will create some granulation rivers. Like this. Yeah, it's a bit too obvious, but I'm letting it still. And I will add I will change it a bit later, because now I let it bleed. I let it react. So this is the tree. I will make it more obvious. Some greenish around. Green. So like some chaos. You see it? So it's happening there. So it's a very nice granulation effect that can be created with the help of granulation paints. Lavender splashes, also to create some textures. And perhaps it's the time to make scratches. Scratches never are the same, because it depends how thick is the paint and how dry is the paper. Sometimes you make them and you get, instead of light, you get dark lines. It means that the paper is still too wet, so you have to wait. So, works? Yes. Like this, yeah. So creating this chaotic bushes. Yeah, I see how it goes. I hope you also, yeah. So it creates this texture of the tree. I also want to pull it a bit. I don't really like when the tree is, when I see the bottom of the tree. I want to create this effect that it's like endless tree. Let it be like this. So I'm going to add a bit of this of the crown there. That's the same color here, I mean. And here also in some places I'm adding more, but you always remember better less than more. In watercolor we cannot remove the pigment, right? We can actually wash out, but so just tiny things, we cannot remove everything. Yeah? So it's important to be accurate with the amount we cover. It bleeded here, nice, let it be. Oh, there from one side I will make the line, neutral tint, so that it's more visible. Yeah, and let's play a bit with my new brush, this one. So we'll make now the branches, these thin ones that are like around. It's a big chaos. So I will use this one, but you can use any schlepper or thin brush you have. I'm taking also this neutral tint. It's very long hair. It's amazing. Perhaps it needs a bit of practice to use it. Let's see how it goes. So I'm holding it vertically, and my hand is not on the paper, so I'm just using the whole arm, like the whole hand and arm together. So it's a big movements, like this. Actually love these stone pines. They're everywhere in Spain, and I remember when first time I've been to Italy, I think it was like on some petrol station or what, and they made so many photos there when we arrived to Italy, and they're everywhere. And now every time I come to Mediterranean country, I always make photos. So Spain or Italy. In Greece they have a bit different ones, but also very nice. The brush has very fine point. Yeah, it's a new one, of course, it has a very fine point. But not always, yeah, not new brushes have this nice point. So my recommendation. So usually my students ask what to buy. So buy it. It's Tintoretto. I bought it in Fabriano, watercolor festival. But you will be surprised, like last year, not this year. So the brush was waiting for this live stream to paint stone pines with you. So I'm skipping some spots, so I'm not coming through with the whole branch, because if I make it like this, then I get this the effect that some needles, some crown is closer to me. So I'm starting, gap, starting, gap, starting. So it's like this. Yes, what I forgot, to make arches, right? They are brownish, darkish. I will make them. Dry brush effect, I don't want to make them very dark. So like this, and also a bit of also neutral tint on some places. And also some of the bottom of the cliff. Just as an illusion, yeah, without too many details. It's dry brush. So like this. Pulling a bit upper. Yeah. Yes. Illusion of the stone. So just removing the pigment. It will come back, of course, but on some places it will stay. Perhaps some of the grasses here with the same brush. Let's experiment. I will take the same color I used for. It's not easy to mix with that brush, but it's easy to paint with it because it creates chaotic lines itself. Yeah, I like it very much. I like some splashes. The same color that I'm using for the green. I think I will add a bit more. Yes. Should I add more? I'm not sure, because I love this water effect here, this granulation, how the objects connect, the ground and the trunk, and I think that I will add more. I may lose this watercolor fluency. That's why I think I will leave it like this. What can be also done, like to make the stones, I will just show you how to make them, but it's not obligatory to make. Yeah, so I will just show how it's possible to do the same Escoda brush. I'm taking brown, and further here in the water I'm making very small these brown dots. This, yeah, you can see it. Below, under each dot, I'm adding very small line of neutral tint, because this is a suggestion for the shadow of the stone. And that's it. So I'm not going to make too much. Bit of chaos with Naples yellow, and I can stop. I would like to correct this stain, because I think it bleeded and it's a bit too obvious shape. For that I'm using paper towel and synthetic brush and clean water. So I will add a bit of water on this area, and then I press. Yeah, so I'm removing in this way very hard edges on the places I don't like them. So that's the way how you can move the paint to the shape that is more like a foam, not. So I'm cutting it, yeah, a bit, so to see the difference, that that part is below and we are a bit upper. So I think that I'm done, and if you have any questions, please ask. This is a very quick sketch. But I hope you learned a lot, and again, this sketch, this tutorial will be on my YouTube channel, and you can paint whenever you have time. And if you are my Patreon subscriber, you can also request for feedback following this tutorial. I will now change the camera. Yeah. So thank you for being today with me. The next session will be in July, because this week's I'm traveling for the exhibition, for the demo, for the workshops. And in July, I know it's vacation time, but I hope that we still can meet and paint together. And for the next plot, I will again post 3 photos on my Patreon, and you can vote what you would like to paint further with me. I'm wishing you a good evening today, and I will see you during some next live streams. And paint this and travel to Spain.